To get started, the very first thing I'd like to do is to show you that I am currently running version 1.3.9 of Audacity, which is the most current version available at the time of this recording. SoundForge does occasionally upgrade and update Audacity, but typically the functionality remains much the same. So regardless of what version you download, you should be able to use most of these techniques without any problem. First thing I'd like to acquaint you with here is this little microphone icon with an arrow next to it. I'm going to click on that arrow and I'm going to go down and highlight Start Monitoring, because it's going to provide me some valuable information on audio levels, my recording levels. And it's important that first of all you see that meter working, and second of all that you adjust the volume so that you're right about in this area. That the high end certainly doesn't go off the meter. If you're recording too high or if you're off the meter, the sound is going to be very distorted. You can use this microphone slide bar to adjust the volume. You can also use this, you may have to select the source using the source selector. I might also mention that if you're not seeing the meter work or you're not detecting any audio, you may have to go into the control panel in Windows and make some adjustments in the sound to ensure that you've got the right device selected, that you've got the audio levels in Windows adjusted correctly. That's just going to require a little bit of experimentation and some adjustments on your part. But once you have everything set up, you should see the monitor working and you should have it adjusted in this range. Okay, well, assuming that you've got everything all set up, you've got the right device selected, also the quality is going to be dependent on the type of microphone that you're using, how close you are to the microphone. When you're recording, inflections in your voice can be important, but you want to make sure that your lows aren't too low and your highs don't take it off the chart. Otherwise you're going to have distortions. But once you have the right device selected, once you've got everything in agreement with Windows, we can lay down our first audio track. And to do that, we're going to come over here to the record button. We're going to click on the record button and we're going to begin recording. I'm now recording a track using Audacity. And if I were to make some type of a mistake, eek, I might want to be able to take that out later, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now I'm going to come over and click on the stop button. Okay, there you have it. We've recorded our first track in Audacity. And as you can see, the width of these bands indicate inflections in the voice, and they also indicate the volume level. So you want to make sure that those bands are at an appropriate width, that they're not out of the bar here. They're not too high, they're not too low. And also notice that this recorded in stereo as a stereo track. And there are certainly applications for stereo, but I think for most podcasts, for most web applications, you'll find that mono is sufficient. So what I typically do is I go over here and I click on this arrow, then I slide down to split stereo track to mono, click on that, and then I can eliminate one of these tracks by going over here to the X key and clicking on it, and it simply deletes one side of the stereo track. So there you have it. We have our first audio track, and we've converted that stereo track to a mono track. I'm going to go up here and click on Rewind to get to the start of our audio track. Now I should explain that for the purposes of these modules, the way I'm recording these modules, I have to go up here, and so that you can hear the Audacity track, I have to make a modification. I have to go from microphone to stereo mix. You're not going to have to do that. I just do this so that you can hear the Audacity track. So I'm going a moment. I'm just going to switch to stereo, and then I'm going to play the Audacity track I just recorded. I'm now recording a track using Audacity, and if I were to make some type of a mistake, eek, I might want to be able to take that out later, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now I'm going to come over and click on the Okay, well, hopefully that played well for you. You heard it. It was a great example of how to lay down an audio track, so not much to it. You saw that I played the track by rewinding and going to the play button. Pretty straightforward stuff. Now, you may recall that right here is where I had my little mistake. And if I wanted to take that out, it's pretty simple. I just go up here and click on the selection tool, come down to the timeline, highlight that portion, and then go down, and using the delete key, when I press the delete key, it magically removes that portion of the track. So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to rewind, and then I'll switch over to the stereo mix and play the Audacity track now that I have taken that section out. I'm now recording a track using Audacity, and if I were to make some type of a mistake, I might want to be able to take that out later, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, well, hopefully you get the idea that it's pretty easy to take sections or segments out of an audio track, and this is a great tool for making it a lot easier to get through a script or a narration or an interview without having to redo the entire thing each time. So if you're reading and you make a boo-boo or a mistake, so often you have to go back, start from the beginning, and go all the way through. Well, in Audacity, with the selection tool and doing a real basic edit, you can eliminate those mistakes, and it makes it a lot easier to get through any type of an audio. It also is really great for eliminating a lot of the ums and you knows and ahas that so many of us have in speech. I know I'm certainly guilty of that. So it's a great way to clean up an audio track. So there you have it. We laid down an audio track. We did a real basic edit. So we're on our way. Now, once we've finished, we want to come over here to the to File, bring down that menu, and we have several options. We can either save this as a project. It'll save this file as a .aup file, which will keep all the tracks and all the edits so that we can come back and work on it later. Or we have the opportunity to export this file. Click on Export, and you'll see we have a lot of different options to have an artist name and track if you want to add that type of information, or we can just skip it, click OK. And in this particular instance, we're going to export this file as an MP3. MP3s have a lot of utility. They're used widely in a lot of different applications. They're one of the most compressed audio file formats. So I'm just going to name this Test 1, and I'm going to tell it I want to save the location I want is the desktop, and I'm going to click Save, and we are going to create an MP3 called Test 1, and here it is out here on the desktop. So there you go. We have become familiar with some of the basic buttons and tools in Audacity. We learned how to set our recording levels using the monitor. We learned how to lay down an audio track using the record button. We played that using the play button. We then came back and did an edit using the selection tool, highlighting a portion of the timeline that we wanted to remove. We used the delete key to remove that and made a basic sound edit. When we were finished, we came over and we could have saved this as a project, or we had the opportunity to export it as an MP3. So that's quite a bit to cover in the first module. So I'm going to stop. Hopefully you'll have an opportunity to do some practicing, and we'll get back for module 2 and look at how to lay down multiple tracks. All right, talk to you.